All right, y'all, we are live. We are out here in the snow. Snowpocalypse has hit. We got about 8 or 9 inches of snow here in southeastern Pennsylvania, on top of the little bit of residual stuff from the last storm. And we're out here to do some more snow archery. But today we got the recurve bow. I did like 5 hours of snow shoveling, made a lot of money, got a lot of exercise in. So we're shooting the recurve instead of the compound. I was going to do both, but man, compound, I could still probably draw it, but both my arms are really tired, so I'm just going to shoot the recurve today. We're going to talk a little bit about this. This is an archery tab. I'm trying to make the switch from gloves to tabs primarily. I'll still use gloves in some scenarios, but I'm trying to make the switch from gloves to tabs for a couple key reasons. And I actually made this tab. That short will be out for you guys in not too long. I made this, so that'll be cool. But yeah, we're just going to shoot the recurve today. You can see our target half buried in the snow down there. We'll have to dig that out after a couple shots, but it's at 30 yards. I want to see if I can hit that half target from 30 yards with the recurve. 30 yards isn't like the most comfortable shot with my recurve, and we only have half a target, so it'll be a good way to start the live, see if we can hit a much smaller target than typical from 30. Cole Region's in here. Thanks for stopping in. Cole Region's been first to the party a couple times recently. All right, let's take the first shot of the day. Let's see if we can hit from 30. See if we can hit where we're aiming. Tinier target than normal, a little bit longer distance than normal. See if we can do it. On break, flying drone for search and rescue. That's awesome. Hey, Stu. Let's see if we can hit this. Somewhat difficult shot. And my arrow has disappeared. That is a side-by-side of this thing. Yeah, it went over the top and it is just buried in the snow. So that is something, didn't think about that. We should probably stick to close range today, because if I miss at long range, it's just going to be buried and we probably won't be able to find it. So we're going to go on an arrow hunt first thing in the live to see if we can find that. If not, we'll have to wait till the snow melts. I am, sorry about the wind, guys. I am looking into getting some new recurve arrows. These are old, they're worn out. These I got right at the beginning of my recurve shooting journey, so they've been stuck in the dirt so many times. I'm in need of some new ones here shortly. But yeah, all right, so it went over the top of our target, which, as I said, is half buried in the snow. And it hit somewhere about here. And then it disappeared. So we're going to put the archery tab in my pocket, find something to dig with, some sort of stick, see if we can find it. It was kind of on this trajectory. I see where it entered. Right there. You guys probably can't see it. That mark right there is where it entered. So somewhere in that range. Let's see what we can do. Randy's in, Will's in, got lots of members in here. Oh my goodness. Let's see if we can find it. Yeah, I'm not gonna spend too long on that. That might be an endeavor for when the snow melts. Chicken melt, there you go. Snow in your boots. I have my pants over top of the boots. That's the way to go. Check it out here. When you're in deep snow, have your pants over top of your boots. You won't get snow in them. That's the way to go. What state are you in? Southeastern Pennsylvania. That's where we're at today. It's Eva. Good to see you. Thanks for stopping in. We are shooting archery. We are taking a longer range shot with the recurve bow, which is significantly harder than compound bow. I missed just over top and it got buried right in the snow. So we are gonna take shorter range shots today because yeah, if I miss even just a little bit, that thing is gone. Our target was half buried in the snow, so I was kind of aiming for the top of it because I don't have like the full height of the target. Half of it's buried, which meant I was kind of asking for a miss over the top, and I got it. Our target's way back there. We're gonna come move it up closer so that way if we miss, we have a more controllable environment. Yeah, pants are outside the boots. How much snow did you get? We already had about 2 inches laying on the ground, and we got about 9 extra, so we got some good depth here. I mean, I'm into the top of my boot for sure, which is that's all, yeah, 10 or 11 inches. All right, let me go grab that target, move it to a better distance for today. Woo. Walking through the snow is tiring, man. Woo. Throw snow at us. No, I don't want to get my phone all snowy. It's already cold. You don't do spamming in this chat. It makes it harder to read. All right, target's at 10 yards now. Let's see what we can do here. I am now shooting on tabs as opposed to a glove for the recurve. I made this tab the other day. I'll have a short coming out about me making it, but I'll talk about throughout this live why I'm debating switching completely over to tabs from gloves for my recurve shooting. I'll talk about that in a minute. All right, let's see where we're at today. Left. It's Eva says I subscribe. Thank you. Whew. For some reason, I'm shooting more left of where I want to. On all 3 shots, okay. Elevation's pretty good. I didn't know you don't like spamming. Well, pretty much nobody does. Just keep that in mind. Almost every content creator who goes live does not like that. Decent Fisherman says hi. Hello, we do a lot of fishing on this channel. Lots of snow here too. There you go. When the big stuff was supposed to hit, but it didn't hit till Saturday. There you go. Draw weight of your bow. This is a 40-pound recurve bow at 28 inches. My draw is 27, so it's probably like 37. I also shoot a compound bow a lot, but I did about 5 hours of snow shoveling today and snow blowing. Made a lot of money, but I am tired, so we're just gonna stick with the recurve for today. Much less draw weight. Braden says, okay, bye. See ya. All right. There we go. That one's dead middle. Jeff, Z1X8Z. Any advice for hunting deer with a recurve? So I've never hunted deer with a recurve. I've actually never gone deer hunting, bow hunting for deer. I'm taking out my compound this coming year, this coming season for deer. But I mean, generally, my advice for any sort of hunting, whether it's rifle or anything, is in terms of marksmanship, is if you pull your rifle up, you pull your bow up, you draw back on that animal and you don't feel good about it, don't take the shot. I mean, it's never worth wounding an animal. Do a lot of practice to make sure you feel comfortable with stuff. But yeah, I'm gonna be going squirrel hunting with this bow this coming season, and I'm gonna be deer hunting with my compound, so. Time out. Cold to be outside. I had to shovel, but it was so cold. I was shoveling and snowblowing for about 5 hours today. Made about $200 today. Are those the woods you hunt for deer in? No, they're not. All right, now we're grouping well. I think I just need to get into rhythm a little bit today. My arms are really tired, really sore. I did a lot of shoveling yesterday for some people while the snowstorm was going. Made some money yesterday, and then I did a bunch today for about 5 hours. Made a lot more money as well. So how we doing? Saving Grace, how's it going? Matt Kiz, that's my uncle. Matt, I was watching the Broncos game and saw they were getting some snow. How much do you guys have? Matt lives out in pretty much Denver, Colorado, right on the outskirts of Denver. Patriots made it back to the Super Bowl. My uncle lives in Colorado, is a Patriots fan. He was born and raised in New England. And then born and raised in New England, lived in Massachusetts for a while, I believe, and now he's in Colorado. But yeah, how much snow do you guys have? Are you country? I don't know. I guess it depends on how you define that. Like, I don't like country music, but a lot of other things I do. A lot of people would consider it as such. So, all the banana stuff. Couple of inches, but cold. Yeah, it's today's the warmest day for like the next 7 days, and it got up to 25 today. 25 Fahrenheit. Hey, Mark. Poor squirrels. Well, I'm actually doing a squirrel hunting rifle video. That's probably going to be the next long form out on the channel. That is how I used the meat for them. I used the general hide for fly tying, but these silencers here are from that squirrel that I took in that video. So almost 40 here today. That's not bad. It's 12 here, 2 foot of snow. Where are you at? I feel that. Gnarly, making your own from that squirrel. Yeah. I also, one of the other things I did, I'm testing out some things. I did some thinking, and I think for my release option for my recurve bow, I'm really gonna like tabs over a glove. There's a couple reasons why, and I'll talk about that as we go through the live. But I ended up using my leather crafting skills, which I recently made a video on, to make this archery tab for my recurve bow. I've been shooting this for 3 days now, and I'm really liking it so far. So yeah, homemade silencers for the bow, homemade tab for the bow. Now we just got to get into like wood arrow making, and we're like a professional here. Gonna hop off. Have a good day. Well, thanks for coming in. West Michigan. There you go. That makes sense. I've heard you guys have had an iffy ice fishing season. Is that true? I've heard a lot of people up in that region, Montana, Michigan, Minnesota, that area. Minnesota, not really, but Michigan. Iffy ice fishing season. Is that true today? Mama Mission here. Shooting the new tab. I was telling my mom all about it. I was showing her as I was tracing out the design what this was for, and you know, tracing my hand and all that, and trying to map the shape of this to the shape of my hand, and it worked out pretty well. Yeah, shooting the new tab, it's working great. Ice not safe, too much snow. There you go. Yeah, I've been out on 4 ice fishing trips in southeastern Pennsylvania so far this year. Ice has been good since late December. I got out December 26th, and there's been like 2 days where it hasn't been safe in that stretch. So all right. A little bit to the left, good up and down. When I say a little bit to the left, it's about an inch left from 10 yards. Snow cover makes ice unsafe. Yeah, it can. It doesn't inherently make it unsafe, but it definitely can, especially with this much snow. Especially, it also insulates it and keeps it from freezing. Sometimes it can even help it melt. So all that. That one was high. I don't know why I did that. This one's got a loose field point on it. That's why I was bopping around on the draw. Good shot. Ponds are fine, smaller waters. Gotcha. Yeah. Yeah, I've really only been out one place this year. But as we have this cold stretch, I'm going to continue to check other stuff. All that sort of stuff. 2 people just died when the 4-wheeler fell through the ice. Yeah. Ice can be rough. I mean, in southeastern PA, that's kind of a given. I always only go out, you know, like with me and my gear, always wear ice picks, all that sort of stuff. I typically go with other people unless it's like 6 inches or more. So yeah, extra precaution, definitely, but you can't be too afraid to get out there and try it. Yeah. Happens every year, unfortunately. Grandpa and grandkid, that's rough. A little bit high. This is 10 yards, close range. I'm trying to get a feel mostly for this new tab. As I said, I have shot gloves previously. All my recurve endeavors, I've either shot bare finger or I've shot with a glove. Never shot tabs before a couple days ago when I made this, and we're working with it, trying to see how I like it. What's the difference? Just use an auger and check stuff. Yep, got to be smart with it, indeed. I've got a lot of ice fishing, well, not a lot, some ice fishing content up on the channel, like 3 different live streams I've done, 2 long form videos, a couple shorts. You guys will see me mention safety all throughout that stuff. Can't pull a bow back no more. Hey, squirrel magnet, how's it going? Yeah, that's tough. Good shot. One thing I find myself getting trapped in, which when I start to ignore that is when I start shooting better with the recurve. Same goes for the compound. It's just a little bit easier to achieve with the compound. When you're doing stuff, whether it's rifle or whatever, you don't want to stare at your sights, whatever that is. You want to stare at the target you're trying to hit and let your sights kind of just be in like that hazy part of your vision. You can line them up without really looking at it, but stare at that target. That's going to help you with stability, going to help you with your confidence, get the feel for it, make sure everything's lined up. You're not really looking at your sights. So when I draw back on my compound bow, check my peep sight, check my level, and then once I'm there, know which pin I want. I am staring at the target, and the pin is kind of hazy, kind of blurry, but it's in between me and the target where I'm staring, and then I let that shot fly with a nice squeeze, surprise release, and it goes pretty well most of the time. But if I start staring at the pin, I get wobbly, and it's not as good. Same thing goes with the recurve. With how I shoot it, and a lot of people shoot instinctive because you don't even have to worry about it. There are flaws with that, and I've discovered that because I used to shoot instinctive. But yeah, so what I do is I have mental marks along sim the arrow tip with recurve. You'll have to elaborate on what you're saying, but I'll feel free. I'm totally free to respond to that. Just don't know what you're saying. I have mental marks along this riser cutout where I know. So 10 yards about here. So, and then you have to extend it out to be in line with the arrow. So about here is where I'm like putting for 10 yards. About here is 20. Right, just about in line with the arrow. The top of the arrow is 30, and then 40 is the shelf. And I know that. I have like mental marks out to 40. Beyond that, I don't really ever shoot that with the recurve. So, I don't really know what that is. Maybe I'll go there someday. Aim with the arrow tip with recurve. So a lot of people do that. I don't do that. A lot of people just shoot instinctive. I haven't shot instinctive for a long time. This is my instinctive shot, and I missed a little bit right. I'm kind of rusty on my instinctive. Instinctive, you keep both eyes open, which you do with this too. But you keep both eyes open. You're not even looking at anything. You're kind of like with your finger. With your finger, you're not like staring at your finger trying to line it up. When you want to point somewhere, you just point that direction. You're like, yep, my finger's there. You just got to get a feel for where things are going. Stare where you want it to go, and your body will line it up. That's instinctive. I used to shoot that way. I shot that way for almost a whole year, as in Fred Bear. Yep. Fred Bear is, Bear Archery is a company. Trophy Ridge, the company that makes my sight for my compound bow, is a subsidiary of Bear Archery. But yeah, so essentially you do that, and a lot of people like that because you automatically staring at the target, not worrying about this. I do this because it's, as long as I remember those marks, when I have arrows that are heavier or lighter, I just adjust those marks, and I treat it just like a sight. But what I get stuck with, because there is no defined pin, and I actually have to think about it a little bit, where's my 10, where's my 20, where's my 30, where's my 40, I get stuck almost trying to double check the riser on recurve a lot, when I really should just be staring at the target again, lining that up, and then once I'm there in the right spot, stare at it. And I generally know I have enough reps in to where I know where it is. I should just stare at the target, wait for it to feel right, because I do know where it generally is. Let that be like in my hazy peripheral vision, and then let that shot fly. Looks like he's shooting at a target. Too darn cold for that. I'm surprised he has any fingers left, but it's quite a bit colder here than where he's at, I believe. Yeah, we're about 20 degrees Fahrenheit today, something like that. What's the first thing? These are silencers. I've not built any bows yet, but that's something I'm looking forward to doing in the future. I've got lots of projects. I don't just do archery on my channel. I do fishing and hunting and camping and gold panning. I have so many projects across all these things that, I've got a lot of things to get to. But, hey, we'll get there all eventually. Yeah, so a lot of people, going back to that earlier, a lot of people will aim with the tip of the arrow, which is fine, but what you have to do, because the tip of the arrow is always in the same spot, what you have to do is you have to do what's called gap aiming. I've tried this before. I've shot some with gap aiming, and I've shot some with instinctive. I shot a lot with instinctive. That's how I used to shoot my recurve. But what you do with gap aiming is you say, okay, here's the tip of my arrow, and at this distance, I put the arrow directly on. Further than that, I have to put the arrow this far above and closer than that, I have to put that arrow this far below the target. And that's hard to estimate, especially on things like deer, like squirrels or whatever. If you're hunting something, or if you're shooting at a target that you don't totally know the width of, it's tough to estimate. And an inch off in estimation can mean, you know, three or 4 inches off in where your actual impact is. So that's kind of tough to do. So what I've switched over to doing is kind of treating the riser of my bow as a sight, like you do in compound. Where's my reference here? Line that up, and then I stare directly at the target. Once I have that stared, boom, let that hold for a minute. Make sure my arrow is straight. Make sure I'm looking directly over top of my arrow, then let it fly. But because I am using this kind of as a sight, I do get stuck sometimes staring at this too much instead of staring at the target. So Apache draw, 3 fingers under. It ain't easy shooting that bow. Yeah, absolutely. I shoot my compound really well. I used to shoot this better. I'm switching my technique over, but what I think this technique switch will allow me to do is be able to actually grow more consistently. Because if I don't shoot it for, you know, a couple weeks in instinctive, because it's a lot of feel, you're gonna go backwards. But with this, if I know those sight marks and I just treat my form the same as I do with compound, which is the same, your shoulder alignment is the same, that draw, the way you draw is the same, the way you hold, the way you stare at the target, all that's the same. If I treat them the same, then I think it's easier to jump back in, easier to continue progressing. So I kind of did a hard reset. I'm switching to tabs instead of gloves, which isn't that big of a deal. I switched to 3 under not too long ago. I used to do split grip, but I switched to 3 under, and now I'm switching the way I aim. I'm just trying to get used to this, and then once we get back to ground zero, I think it's actually going to be better growth than when I was doing it the old way. So it's, you know, I'm on the other side of the pond. Play up, blue sky blue. Yep. Yeah, I love international viewers. But yeah, it was kind of tough convincing myself to do this reset and try and change the way I was doing it and not shoot instinctive anymore, because I was shooting really good. You guys can see some lives from like a year ago. I was shooting darn good with instinctive, and I imagine I could still pick it back up, but I think doing it this way is going to give me a better reference of like when I'm out at 30 yards and I need to take a shot and I'm not just at 10 and 20 shooting instinctive. What do I do then? Well, that's what I caught my flashlight. Well, that's what this is going to help me with. What happens when I take a 3-week break because I'm, you know, on vacation in the summer and doing work or whatever on other adventures, and I need to come back in? Well, I think I'm going to be able to pick it back up quicker with this. So it's a hard reset, but I think it's going to help me a lot. Are you talking about string walking? Yeah, I see a lot of people who do string walking. I don't, which is fine. There's a lot of different ways to shoot everything. The guy who just won the Lancaster Archery Classic in compound bow is a trigger puncher. A lot of people don't do that. I don't do that, but you can. You know, that it's a lot of psychological things. One of the things that I heard that's really, really good is trigger punching that trigger, slapping it, is actually, it's the most accurate way to shoot a bow. However, the problem is when you do that over and over and over and over again, you are going to train your brain to anticipate and jolt. And the people who do that just have really good control over that, but 99% of people can't do that. So they have to go to that slow, surprise, squeeze release. Was that an O-Light? This is actually a skill hunt, which very similar brand, less known brand, does have magnetic charging. Yeah, this is a great flashlight. As you can see by the wear on the clip, I carry this one a lot. But yeah. So there's, you know, a lot of people don't trigger punch. The guy who just won Lancaster Archery is a trigger puncher. A lot of people do the squeeze. A lot of people shoot different releases with recurve. Some people string walk. Some people shoot instinctively. Some people use the gap method. Some people use what I'm doing. There's a bunch of different options. You need to figure out what works for you. Listen to people's advice, but listen to their advice. Don't take their advice as like, this is the word. It's not. So, Uncle Ted, the master archer. Hey, Zyro's in here. All right, we're going to go grab these shots. We're going to take a couple more. That was great. Don't know how we did that. Don't worry, guys. I'm a professional. Not really. But that's not something that typically happens. EDC knife. Today, I'm actually carrying the Roxxon Ted Nugent, yep. The Roxxon Flex modular multi-tool. I have a couple shorts on this. I brought this through TSA because you can actually go like this and pop out the blade and swap it for something else. I brought this through TSA both times we went to Colorado. Roxxon Flex modular multi-tool is what I'm carrying today. My most common carried EDC knife is probably the Kaiser Original. Aluminum scales. I'm a big aluminum scales guy. I like aluminum. Aluminum or G10 or micarta. I like that more than FRN. So yeah, Stormtrooper. Cool kid. Well, thank you. Yeah. All right, let's go grab those shots. What's your biggest deer? I'm actually going out for my first deer hunt this upcoming season. So far in my hunting journey, you guys will get to see this video shortly. I've just done squirrels. These Recurve bow silencers are actually from a squirrel that I took in an upcoming video. So you guys will get to see that. You'll also get to see me make them in that video. So super, super sweet. But yeah, deers next year, more squirrels, and probably pheasant. So that's probably my slate of hunting for next year. I don't get as much chance to do hunting. It's more time consuming than fishing, that sort of stuff. And I like it. It's cool. It has its merits, but I don't think I'll ever get to a point to where hunting's the main thing, but it is really awesome. Why not compound bow? I have one of those too. I shoot both. They both have their merit. Some people are like, this one's better, all that. But yeah, it's they both have their place. They're both cool in their own right, and they both have a use. I shoot them both. So where's your nose? On my face. Victoria Irwin, hey, that's my beautiful, amazing, wonderful, awesome girlfriend, who I've also started, I don't know, that's probably probably 3 videos, long form videos from now. I started editing a video that her and I filmed together. She is, what do you call a potter, I guess. She has done a lot of pottery stuff, wheel throwing stuff. I've done a video, it's probably a little over a year old now, where I took clay from the bottom of a lake and I used primitive methods to turn it into a pot. It was really, really cool. But with her traditional pottery skills, we decided it would be a cool video idea to take some of that same clay, process it in a more modern manner, and give it to her and see what we can make out of it, and see how the results compared between the super primitive and the less primitive method. I've started filming that. She did a really good job making some stuff from the clay that we processed, and she had a lot of knowledge on how to do that. So she'll be in an upcoming video for that because she helped me out with that. So I'm a fan, bro. I used to archery hunt like Mad Dog until I got hurt. There you go. Hunt coyote. There's not many in southeastern PA. There's a couple, but they're not super common, luckily. All right, let's go grab these arrows, take a couple more shots, and then we'll move back to 20 yards. Okay, let's see if we can put 3 right in the middle of this target until we get 3 grouped within like an inch of one another from 10 yards. I ain't moving back today. I'm gonna be tough on myself today. That's not a good start. It's about an inch to the right. All right, I think my mom's still keeping an eye on me. I told her I might need her help. Power bank just died. I got 15%. Let me know when you're ready with the other power bank. I'll run up to the house and swap them. So she's on standby with the other power bank, which is charging. Not a good group, but that's all right. Gonna check out your channel. Well, thank you. Yeah, new tab's working pretty good. I made this on Saturday morning, I believe. Yeah. All right, let me go grab these shots. Hopefully my mom is there listening. 49 viewers, 49 likes. Let's go. Well, thank you, everyone. Hopefully my mom's there watching. She can get me the power bank. I got to run back up to the house, see what I can do. Very good shot. About a quarter inch from dead middle. Left. Good up and down. Good elevation. Probably 2 inches from the other shot, not 1. I want 1 inch grouping. All right, so that would have done it if I would have had a good second shot. The second two are on top of one another, or the first and the third are on top of one another. Oh, it's cold. I think my girlfriend's still in here too. But, I mean, I guess there's nothing wrong with going up and knocking on the front door, asking them to bring it to me. Kind of look constipated on the draw. Just trying to keep it steady and controlled. Good shot. Probably just outside where I want to be. I did this 50 years ago. There you go. It is cold. It's so cold that target's so stiff. I just hit the target and one of my other arrows fell out. Because this is a fabric filled target, it's not a foam filled target. So foam filled targets in the cold get stiffer and harder to pull the arrows out of. These get easier to pull the arrows out of. So give and take. $52.52. All right, here we go. Let's check on the phone battery percentage. See what we're like. 7%. All right, we gotta go, y'all. Gotta get that battery pack. There we go. Oh, the snow gets deep. Almost went down, had to jump over the thick part where the plows push it up on the side of the road. You want to work out, try running through snow in boots. All right, we're plugged in again. All right, this one's got full power. We got like 10 inches or 11 inches of snow on the ground trying to run up a hill. It's not easy. All right, Mark's heading out. Thanks for stopping in, Mark. As always. Emmy, can you pause? All right, thanks. All right, back to the archery range. Where are you? Currently on my front porch. We had to swap out the power bank before my phone died. The cold is doing weird things with my phone. It said I was at 5% and about to die. I plug it in, and all of a sudden it says we're back to 16. All right. What state? Well, I didn't know if you were watching or you were already watching as I was running up the hill to a new location, which is what I assumed you meant, or if you were a new viewer. So there actually is a meaning to why I gave you that potentially stupid sounding response. But yes, southeastern Pennsylvania, as my wonderful mother is saying, it's too cold to charge. It damages the battery when too cold. Yeah, but it shouldn't be too cold for this phone. I read every spec on the phone when I got it because I knew I was going to do weird outdoor adventures with it. It should be okay. I think it's more the battery bank than the phone, actually. Because we're plugged in and now it's functioning correctly. I don't know. Yeah, it says good operation temps up for this phone are down to 12 degrees Fahrenheit, I believe. And it is like 20, so we should be okay. How old are you? Big bags that steal your food. Interesting name. How old are you? 18 years old. You guys can't see the target. There it is. Go Birds. We gotta find an offensive coordinator. We gotta. That was not a good shot at all. All right, relax. Yes, you just ran up and down a hill, but we gotta relax. Oh, that's great. The tab hit the arrow on the way out because I had it hanging too far off the edge. I had it like such, touching the nock of the arrow. It flew like completely sideways. Two great shots in a row. And an actually great one to end the end. So weird. We don't really do politics in the channel. I'm a Christian and I'm always willing to talk about that, but politics is not what I'm here to talk about. The birds suck. Yeah. Breathe slow, then release after the exhale. So I actually typically don't do that after I ran up and down the hill. I don't breathe slow. As I'm setting, I will breathe normal. Once I'm set, then I breathe slow. So I really only have one slow breath, typically. That has worked really, really well for me. When I focus too much on the breathing, I don't shoot well. All right, so we're just going to put in a 5-minute timer. But yeah, I mean, whether it's rifle or handgun or longbow or slingshot, anything, that works really well because I can feel natural as I'm setting up. Once I'm in that float zone, my mind goes, and then I let go through it. So I don't breathe slow coming up to the shot, just at the shot. So good comment, understand, but throughout the whole process, it's not really necessary. And that comes from a lot of people who are a lot better than me. trying to find that arrow that the tab hit on the release. And it flew like really sideways. I think it might be further right than I'm looking. I don't know. It flew really weird. It came out and the tail instantly kicked all the way this way. And then when it corrected, it was actually going rightwards. I gotta look for that for a minute. Hold on. It was actually really weird. The back end of the arrow was under the target. Front end of the arrow was probably a foot right. It was really weird. All right. Where did I put my tab, dude? Oh, it's in this pocket. All right. All right, this is gonna be a good end. Here we go. So what I'm noticing is I just switched over to tabs for anyone watching. Let's see if I can get this up close. Yeah, there you go. So I have my soft knock on bottom and on top of the knock, or soft knot on bottom and top of the knock. With the glove, it was super easy to stop here because I could feel it and make sure I'm not touching the knock. But with the tab, I actually have to slide it up and feel it a little bit better. And because I'm not actually having my direct finger on it, it's super easy to go too high and have it contacting the knock, which makes for weird shots like that. So I really should put it on here, slide it up into position, and then shoot. Got to get used to that. Do you hunt with bow or just shooting? I will be hunting squirrel with my recurve this year, and I will be hunting deer with my compound. See if we can make a couple good shots here. Good shot. A little bit left, but both those arrows are on top of one another, so whatever I'm doing it consistently. Probably just anchor point related. There we go, that's better. Yep, that was better. But hey, it's a little, overall grouping is a little left, but they are all within an inch of each other, which was my qualification for the day to move back to 20. So let's do that. I'm shooting very left today. I'm just not getting my eye over the string enough, which is going to make it push right, or push left rather. There you go. It's still left. What am I doing? Am I torquing? I don't typically shoot like this. This is weird. A lot of you guys have seen me shoot before. I'm not shooting very well today. It probably has to do with the fact, as I mentioned, I shoveled snow and snowblowed for 5 hours, so I'm dog tired, but I still was like so hyped to be out here and shoot. But my arms are so tired, like it hurts to lift it up to here, let alone draw the bow, but we're gonna figure it out. face the adversity. This is how we get better. I just shot through the left side of the target. Like, it hit the target, went through. It's still left. I did everything I could think of to make it go further right, and it still went left. Hold on here. Give me a moment to think. I found all the entrance holes into the snow. Once you got it forever, once you forever have it. Well, obviously not true, because usually I shoot in groups like this, and I'm not today. Make sure I always have it drawn the same every shot. Absolutely do. I anchor on my face so that I know right there. Get closer and get locked in. I just shot everything in 1-inch groups previously. Yeah, and then I got out there and everything's left, which makes no sense because I shot them all in 1-inch groups. They were all, I had 2 shafts touching and another was about that far away from the previous distance, and I just backed up. People who were in here just saw that. I found all the entrance holes, and all the entrance holes are in a little gap like this. So once I find one arrow, I should be able to find them. I'm not afraid to mess up with you guys. It's just, I don't know why, like what's going on. What's potentially an issue is, that might be it, is that one of my string loops is falling off. Put a kisser to help, drawing back and twisting the string. No, I mean, this is typically how I shoot. I shoot like that all the time. People who are, if your arm is tired, you aren't going to shoot well. Absolutely, that's why I'm not shooting my compound. Which is 70-pound draw. Sound a little off. Yeah, I'm just tired. Tired today. Did 5 hours of hard labor. Yeah, no, I'm not putting a kisser on this. I don't need a kisser. Man, I'll do it over and over again. Nose, fingers here. Nose, fingers here. I can do it every time. I feel like I might be getting my eye too far over. Hold on, I'm thinking. I think I found the solution. Not giving you, no, you're not, absolutely. There are people who do give crap, but you are not. Offering explanation, no, absolutely. I know what the issue is now. I know what the issue is. The problem is why did all of a sudden it become an issue when I switched distances? That's interesting. I know what the issue is. So the problem is that when I drew back, you want to have your dominant eye in line with the string over top of the arrow so you can look down it. That's where your left and right comes from. Your left and right arrows if you're hanging dead on the middle every time and you let go and your eye's in a different spot, your shot's gonna hit different. So I was hitting left, which means my eye is too far this way. But it looked lined up with my arrow. So I can confirm that has to be what happened. But I don't know why that all of a sudden started happening as soon as I switched distances. There's a lot of people in here who watch me frequently. Randy watches me a lot. Stuart watches me a lot. Rod. There's been a bunch of people. Zyro. Typically, I don't have that issue. Typically, I'm grouping maybe like this from 10, maybe like that from 20. Like, they're pretty similar. But yeah. I gotta find those arrows. So, like, whatever I was doing consistently. Could it be something like I was touching the string on the wrong side of my nose? That could definitely be it. That actually might be it. If I anchor and I put it on this side of my nose, I'm in line. If I put it on this side of my nose, I'm no longer in line. One of these loops was a little off. I don't think that's it. I think I'm anchoring on the wrong side of my nose for no apparent reason. I don't know why I was anchoring on the wrong side of my nose, but it really does make that much of a difference. We'll watch it from straight on. If I draw like this and I anchor on the right side of my nose, here you go. My eye is dead in line. You can pretty much see that, right? I anchor on the other side of my nose. My eye is now to this side of the string. And then that would make me miss left. I don't know. Huh. I don't think I've ever done that in my archery career. Like, anchored on the wrong side of my nose. Like, why am I doing that today? That's a weird question that I might not have an answer to, but I at least know why I was missing. We gotta find those arrows. As I said, I was doing it consistently, which made me think, like, okay, it wasn't I was doing something weird. It was I was doing the same thing wrong each shot. Meaning, it's got to be something pretty solidified. If I did a group like this, it means whatever I'm doing is very consistent. I'm on the wrong side of my nose, which pushes it an inch different or whatever, left and right, and then out at 20 yards would push it like 10 inches left and right. When I'm shooting off, I will sometimes sit and meditate about it, then try again. Yeah, I think that's it. I think it has to be. Yeah, I think that's got to be it. And my arrows would still look in line because I'm still looking down the string. It's just I'm looking down the opposite side of the arrow. Yeah, that's got to be it. That's why everything looked right and I didn't... Huh. That has to be it. Let's go find the arrows. I'll take you guys down there. But my mom's over there. Or cuddle. Yep. My mom's over there. She's saying I'm tired. That's probably why I didn't like think about it. Just because I'm drawn back and trying to take the shots. I'm not thinking about things like where my nose is placed as much. But that's interesting. I mean, I know a lot of people have a nose button to make sure they touch it on the nose the same spot every time. But I don't think I've ever had an issue with that. I guess, hey, new things to think about each time. How many times have you shot those arrows because they get bent? A lot of times. I'm looking into getting some new recurve arrows because these are old and all sorts of stuff. So somewhere around here there was a little pod of 3 holes kind of in a group like this. That's all where all the arrows are. Meaning if I find one of the arrows in the snow here, I should be able to find all of them, but I don't know. Just kind of... Oh. Here's one. Let's see how close they are. So I was missing just right of the target. See how close together they are. They should all be in this zone here. Get to the bottom. Search around. By my previous search attempt, I thought they were further back. just off the left side of the target. All right, where are these other arrows, man? The holes were all close together. All right, here's what we can do. Let's take this one arrow back to 20 again and make sure we anchor on the correct side of the nose and see what that looks like. Yeah, Bob, I was trying that. The problem is, here, I'll show you. First miss starts bending those arrows. Yeah, these are carbon though, so that is true of aluminum and wood to some extent. Carbon does not really do that. I mean, think of a fishing rod. The fishing rod always ends up back in the same spot. That's kind of why carbon is the way to go. Looking for arrows? Yeah, I was doing something I've never done in my archery career. I'll explain it to you guys. I just kind of figured it out on the spot. That was a good moment because I've never paid attention to that before in my archery career. And I think this is like just randomly the first time it ever came to bite me. But we'll see if we can put a shot on there with my newfound information and see if it works. I've never ever done that in my life. But we're gonna see if it works. Time out there, just about 5 o'clock, 5:17, with snow on the ground. All right, we're gonna have to stand a little bit over here. I put it in such a spot that the target's kind of hiding behind that tree. All right, so I need to anchor on the right side of my nose, not on the left. Yep, that's it. Middle but low. I wasn't even worried about up and down. I was just worried about left and right. It's dead middle. I was anchoring on the wrong side of my nose. That's so weird. I've never done that. Huh. I've never ever done that in my whole life. With the trees all around, conditions you'll find yourself in, yeah. So yeah, a lot of people, especially with compound, will have nose buttons, so they have like a tactile feel of where they're putting it. But I've never ever had an issue with like my nose placement. But now I would never ever forget that, will I? I missed consistently left. Huh, that's so weird. My luck, rip my nose off, yeah. Yeah, you don't really want to like push into it. You just kind of want to like touch it and be like, yep, it's right here. Anchor to the corner of your mouth, typically your jaw, corner of mouth, jaw area, and string goes on tip of the nose. But tip of the nose here versus here actually does make a difference. Get a little tired not thinking about it. Yeah, but I don't think I ever have thought about it. I just thought it's probably like muscle memory. And when my arms are this tired, my muscle memory goes away because I shoveled snow and snowblowed for 5 hours. Made $200 though, but yeah. Man, I've never thought about that. That's awesome. All right, so this arrow, I was not even thinking about elevation. I was just solely trying to make sure I put a good shot down the middle to see left and right. I made sure I held on middle. The arrow's somewhere right here. It might be under the target because it shot low. It's right here, look. Look. This is the arrow I just shot. Dead middle. Dead middle. But that has to do with nose. Mom's always right. Yep. Dead middle. I cannot anchor on the left side of my nose or I'll miss left. And you know what? All my shot. Oh my gosh. I've gotten into a bad habit. You guys will see it eventually, but I went out and shot at 70 yards with my compound the other day. And I have a more tactile anchor point because I have a kisser button in the corner of my mouth. But guess what? Every single one of my shots at 70 was either middle or left. Everything was on the left. And I know that pin, typically, if it goes anywhere, it's right, which I think that's sight bubble stuff. But if it goes anywhere, it's right. I'm more minor. I was doing that with my compound the other day too. I was anchoring on the wrong side of my nose with my compound too, or at least more towards the center than the left side. Man, that's like a thing I've been doing over the last couple shooting sessions and didn't even realize till right now. That's awesome. I'm glad we realized that. That's kind of cool to do on live. Hey, as I said, I don't mind messing up with you guys as long as we can learn from it on live. So I was probably on the compound. It was much more minor. I was probably going from right here to like right here. From today, I was from this side all the way to this side, which made that much difference. Man, it's kind of cool. Now we know. I'll never do that again. Well, not never, but like I'll never forget that again. All right, let's see if we can find these arrows. I don't know where they are. Yeah, so Bob, you were mentioning about dragging the tip of the arrow through. I don't know how to do that because they've got like this icy layer on top and the arrow just bends so much. I can try and do it like this maybe. I don't know if I can do it. Something to keep in mind. Yeah. I mean, you always want to draw the same way. I always focus on my anchor here all the time, making sure I do that in the same place. I've never really thought as much about my nose as I probably should. We gotta find these arrows, man. And you know what? I don't have a kisser button on this, and I do on my compound, which I think helps to minimize that, even if I'm not thinking about it. I have had a lot of left and right misses out at longer ranges recently with the recurve, like 30-40 range with the recurve. I've been missing left and right. It's my nose. It's gotta be, because I'm not worrying. Oh my goodness, it all makes sense. Because what I do with the compound is you have to line it up with the peep sight. You actually have something in the string to line up with and help you make sure that your left and right is good. In the recurve, you're looking over top of the arrow. But because you're doing that, you can either look over one side of the arrow, the other side of the arrow, dead middle of the arrow, but you kind of have to look left or right because the string's in the middle. So, because I don't have a peep sight to give me that left-right reference as well, and I'm just trying to make sure that I'm getting my eye over top of the arrow, there is much more variance in it, and I have to pay attention to that more. That's awesome. Kisser helps lock in on the draw. Yeah, actually, but more than the kisser, I just realized I think it's the peep that is why it has been a minimal issue on the compound. I mean, I'm still shooting groups like this out at 70, maybe more like this, out at 70 on the compound bow. You guys will see that in an upcoming video, probably in a month and a half or so, when I did that the other day. I'm shooting groups like this at 70 yards with the compound because I have a peep sight reference for left and right. Here, there's no peep sight reference for left and right, and all of a sudden, I'm missing left and right because I'm using the wrong side of my nose as reference. That's why. Oh my goodness. Okay, now I know. Learn something new every day. Yeah, that's awesome. All right, let's find these other arrows, man. Where the heck did they go? I don't know where the heck these arrows went. You're hurting tiny animals. Well, I'm trying to find something, and they experience this all the time. Yeah, aloha rather. 9.5 inches of snow. We have about 9 inch. Half inch of solid ice. We don't have quite solid ice, but we got a much harder layer on top. So yeah, like go like this, and I can lift up the top layer because that's all hard stuff on top. Farther back is my guess. Yeah, I mean a tiny vertical variance is going to make it go further, or even if they all hit in the same spot, like one that's an inch higher, will go a little bit further. So I don't know. We'll find them sometime. Whether that means snow melting. I'm looking for new recurve arrows too. So yeah, snowblowers are great. I used 2 snowblowers today. Here's one. All right, we got enough. We got 2. That's enough to keep shooting for a couple minutes till it gets dark. I want to put this theory into some more action here. It's not a theory. It's got to be that. Rock salt. 2 to 4. Yeah. I'll find them. I'll come out here and listen to a podcast and search around. But yeah, I want to put this newfound knowledge into action and hit this target a couple of times. Because, I mean, that has to be it. And we proved that I can hit good left and right if I just actually pay attention to that. Huh. Hey, plywood. First fish of the year. First fly tie ever. That's awesome. All right. Let's do this thing. Back at 20 yards. All right. Back to actually shooting, but now paying attention to nose position. Dead middle. A little bit high, but dead middle. I got an anchor on the right side of my nose. Hitting a little high, but yeah. Guys, we found it. That's what it was. That is what it was. Man, that's cool. We found it. All right, let's go grab those. Right side of the nose for the anchor. Bought a compound, occasionally shoot local archery range. Yeah, I have a compound as well. I shoot that a lot. I shoot both my bows a lot. But today I learned a pretty big new thing about shooting the recurve, which I think is going to make me a more consistent shooter. Learning new things every day. Have him sniff around for the other area. There you go. Hold that one low. I'm trying to find the vertical. It's right there. I just need to stop thinking about it so much. There we go. That's a good shot. Yeah. I'm now thinking about that nose thing so much that I'm missing up and down. It's gotta take time to like implement into your normal routine, into the muscle memory before you actually like get it internalized and can utilize it. But yeah, we're there. All right, give me one moment. All right, we're gonna take these last two shots, hopefully put them in the middle. And my mom says the chili's just about ready, so we're gonna head up. But we learned something big for consistency and repeatability in my recurve journey, because hey, I've always shot pretty well using this anchor point method. Just kind of letting muscle memory take over and put me in the right spot. But now we have a better, actually, like a reference that we can check it against. Saying, like for example, we all know there's people who say, oh, my span's 6.5 inches. If we check that against 6.5 inches, it's probably 1/8 of an inch off or whatever. So what I gotta say is, like on that same vein, we actually have a real reference point for left and right now, not just feeling it out, making sure I'm looking over top of the string. We got a real reference point, and that's going to help with repeatability. So there you go. Really good shot. First one was not quite as good. I use a 45 tilt, look down the air to aim. I used to do that. I don't do that as much for a variety of reasons. I still can shoot like that, but not quite as well. And I don't do the 45 tilt much anymore because looking down, well, this same thing, looking down the air to aim is what I'm doing. I'm just doing it from a vertical position. And the reason I like doing it this way is it helps me have a better repeatable form, because I also shoot compound and do that. There's nothing wrong with 45-degree tilt. I used to do that. I just don't anymore. What are you lining your nose up with? I just got back and you started talking about that. So what I did, I was missing left consistently today, and I was like, why the heck am I doing this? I think inadvertently, which I really haven't ever done before, I was lining my string up on the left side of my nose. I know it looks backwards because I'm on the selfie screen, but there you go. Left side of the string, or left side of my nose, right side of the string, right side of my nose, or right side of my nose on the string, made me miss way left when I was switching that. And I have to come back to right side of the nose, and I've never really thought about my nose point, like which side of the nose I'm on, but there you go. Dallas just said something about form. Whatever works. Yep, indeed. Let's see hit. I don't know what that means. Let me go grab these, and we'll do one more group and then head up and call it a live. We learned something today, and while I didn't even, you don't even know what. I know lots of things. I don't even know what you're asking. Let's see hits. Let's seize hits. Let's seize hit is what you said. I don't know what that means. I think a lot of people probably don't know what that means. Seize the hit. Do you mean see the hits? Do you have the S in the right spot? Okay, I'm testing something. I put that one in the middle of my nose, and this one will be on the far right side. That's awesome. The one in the far right hits dead middle. The one in the middle hits on the left side of the target, and if I put it on the left side, it misses the target left entirely. He wants to see where you hit the target with the arrow, so where you hit. That's awesome. So the second one hit dead middle. The second one hit dead middle. The first one hit on the left side. I can't bring the camera. That target stays there. I'm gonna go grab my arrows and we're heading inside for dinner. If you want to see some of that stuff, I do it on other lives. I got some other lives where I take you down to the shot. Let's go take a walk and see. Dude, this target stays outside. It's covered in snow. I'm just gonna go grab the arrows and come on back and the live, and we're heading inside. Mom's got chili there. So yeah, take a look at some of my other lives. I have timestamps for highlights in all my lives. You can see all my shooting. I shoot pretty well. I'm proud of my shooting. And hey, there's no shame in it. If you want to see some of my groups where I walk up and show you, go take a look at some of my other lives. I've got highlights on there. So go take a look for it. I've shot out to 90 yards with my compound bow and had a group like this out at 90. Recurve bow, I typically shoot close range, but I've taken you guys up. Recently, I think it's the live where I'm wearing a Lancaster archery sweatshirt. Go check that one out. I have the timestamps in there. We toss out a bottle about this big. We toss it out at random distances. I have to guess the distance and hit the bottle, and you can see the bottle fly when I hit it. So you don't even need me to walk up the target to see the grouping, because I got to hit the bottle. Go check that one out. I'm proud of my shooting. I'm not ashamed to show you my shooting. Go check it out on my other lives. You can see I actually do hit where I say I hit. So go check it out. Timestamps in all those. But yeah, I'll just end the live right now. Go grab my stuff and head in. It's about to get dark and we got dinner on the table. So I will see you all. Thank you for coming in. We learned something today, and while maybe my shooting wasn't the best and it was a little bit iffier than typical, we learned something, and we're going to be more repeatable in the future, which is always good. Had a tired day. My arms are all tired from 5 hours of snow shoveling, which is, muscle memory didn't do its job, but now we have an actual physical reference point, better repeatability, and we're on the upward swing. So thank you guys for coming in. I appreciated it. Thanks for sticking with me as I learned. So yeah, head in for dinner. See you guys next time.